please. You have to give more than you think is necessary for fear of not giving enough, right? Well, the answer is a $20 sensor plugged into the computer. 75% of hospitals have this. It's only used 25% of the time because people don't know to ask for it. But more important than just asking for it, you have to say either I get it or I'm going down the street where I can get it, okay? Because you're never going to change people's beliefs, you know? So the important thing is you want to wake up with the same number of marbles you started with, right?
Exactly.
I mean, what the hell good's the surgeon if you don't have the, if you're not the same person who woke up? So, I mean, it's just basically what you're saying without this monitor, go ahead and play Russian roulette with my brain.
Exactly.
I don't think that's conscionable in this country. And so unless you face the hospital or the surgery center with the loss of your surgical revenue, they're gonna blow you off. My own publicist's sister just had to have hip replacement. She asked she made the mistake of asking if they would do a brain, and she said, no, we don't think that's necessary. Well, she has to live with the long-term consequences of their short-term care. What do you mean it's not necessary? This is an either or. This is the same model for changing out fathers in the delivery room. You either let me in the delivery room or run down the street to the hospital at will. Oh, not a problem. You want a brain monitor or your meeting? Not a problem. We'll use it.
Let me ask you.
Thank you very much.
What do you think should happen to Dr. Murray?
Well, I don't particularly care if they sentence him to prison.
Right.
He should have a felony conviction, which means he can never again practice
medicine. That's the most important thing.
But that's very small justice for Michael. I mean, it's very small justice for the family. You know, how do you feel
about him still being able to, you know, keep practicing under these circumstances?
Outrageous. It's outrageous. I mean, you know, to slap him on the hand to say, no, you can't give anybody sedation. It's like, well, he's a cardiologist. That's not what he does. It's a meaningless, you know, it's a fob you throw to the public. It's a nonsense.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You have a good day.
I don't know that I'm going to be here tomorrow because
you might catch a cold out here, Doc.
Man. But it was really nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
And, you know, when I was here in August, members of your group just about jumped on me because they thought I was trying to cash in on Michael. I said, look here, public education, nonprofit foundation. It's not about that. I'm on your side.
God bless you for that.
I'm on your side, and I want everyone.
We need more doctors like you.
Well, you know, they threw the mold away when they made me. My mother said I was a trying child. I'm still trying as an adult.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Happy New Year to you.
For being here.
Would you mind,
especially for Michael?
Would you mind summing up the premise of your book there?
The premise of the book is the 5 things you must know about it before having anesthesia. And the very first thing you have to know is that if they don't measure your brain, you're going to be over-medicated.
Okay.
And that's not a good thing.
Right. Okay.
And Michael, of course, was over-medicated and died. We know that one person dies every day from anesthesia over-medication.
Right.
One a day. Not as famous as Michael, but still they're dying.
Right.
For not using a $20 sensor. What is that? It's insane.
Right.
It's unconscionable. It's unacceptable.
Now, Murray claims that he gave him 25 milligrams, I believe.
Sure.
Is that enough to put him under?
Probably not. Probably not. But see, the dosage is a distraction. And who gave the dosage is also a distraction.
Right.
The only thing that matters, and the reason that hundreds of millions of people have had propofol safely, is someone's watching and somebody's monitoring. This is not rocket science.
Right.
This is not different. It's not neurosurgery. Okay? This is, okay, here's a drug that we know can cause people to lose their airway and stop breathing. How do we give it safely? Well, we stand there, we watch, we have a monitor, and we'll respond to changes.
Right.
So Conrad did the worst possible thing you can do with anesthesia, which is to abandon your patient, to leave the room. And okay, he has to go to the bathroom. He could have a pulse oximeter on that he could hear the tone.
Right.
And when the tone changes is the time you intervene, long before the patient's heart heart stops and they die from lack of oxygen in the brain.
Just for my understanding, is propofol usually given on a drip, or is it something that's injected?
Well, it's given both ways. If you're going to have inhalational anesthesia, stinky gases, they typically give you a slug of drug and then put a breathing tube down or put a mask on and let you breathe inhalation. I've been giving propofol by infusion, both by drip and with a pump device for 18 years.
Okay.
And one of the things I specialize in is putting patients to sleep with propofol while keeping them breathing with a minimum amount of trespass. I wrote an article in 2004 called Minimally Invasive Anesthesia for Minimally Invasive Surgery because my first publication is a Cambridge University textbook for the profession called Anesthesia Cosmetic Surgery.
Okay.
Okay? And basically, in more than half the patients, all you have to do is put the head, put the chin up, and rotate it laterally, or put an IV bag underneath the shoulders to maintain the airway because you're putting patients to sleep in a very gradual fashion. It's very gentle and very pleasant. In fact, from 1992 to 1994, when I would ask the patients, how did you like your anesthetic, they all said, oh, the best part was the going to sleep part. And I, of course, have had 20 years of giving patients a slug of drugs, so I don't have any frame of reference to understand what are you trying to tell me? Finally, by the end of 1994, after listening to this for 2 years, the light goes on and says, oh, this is a happy drug. So long before Michael Jackson came along with his business with the propofol, I knew the patients liked this drug.
Right.
In 1998, I had one of my patients was so happy, he said, Doc, let's open some sleep clinics and offer this to the public. We could make a lot of money.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, I'm sure we could make a lot of money, right up until the time the medical board looked at this practice and said, no more license, Dr. Friedberg. So I said, there's not enough money I could possibly make to make me want to put my license in risk.
Right.
So, you know, if they had offered me $150,000 or whatever amount of money to put Michael in this situation, I would have done it. But it doesn't mean it couldn't have been done safely.
Right.
And that's the whole issue.
Right.
You're going to give a drug that has serious potential, and you have to do it in a safe way.
And you're right about his license. I mean, that should have been the first thing that they looked at revoking.
Right. But before there's a felony conviction, there's all sorts of extraneous legal stuff that go on. They'll say, you're persecuting this guy, he's entitled to presumption of innocence. You say, but what presumption of innocence is there if the guy says he gave the propofol and left the room?
Right.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he has given us everything we need to say no more medical practice.
Exactly. Now, he's a cardiologist.
Right.
Are they at all usually given permission to administer propofol?
It's not a question of permission. If you look at the medical license in California, everybody licensed to practice medicine is licensed as a physician and a surgeon. So if he could convince somebody to let them operate on his brain legally, there's nothing he could do about it. However, he could never get malpractice insurance for that. And I'm sure he didn't have malpractice insurance to be giving propofol because that's not part of his usual practice.
Right.
But nothing in the law would prevent him from giving it. It's just that you have to give it in a safe fashion.
So he would have been somewhat trained on giving it.
Right.
So he knew better.
In other words, if he was a cathing cardiologist and he worked in a cath lab, the cardiac catheterization lab, where patients are getting sedation, he might have known how to use it. I mean, nurses in the GI suite who are doing colonoscopies are giving propofol. They're not anesthesiologists, but they have a dedicated nurse who does nothing but watch the patient.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's the critical issue. Nobody was watching, nobody was monitoring. This is a completely avoidable, preventable death. Very sad.
It is. Well, thank you.